Here's a play out of gun flanker close that allows me to throw a short underneath pass that allows me to get it to the flanker who's running a shallow crossing route, or more or less you can also call it a drag if you like. And the way I set this combination up is I got a square in route ran by the slot receiver, which he's already running, but I like to extend it, and you'll see here why here in just a second once we get on the field. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're just going to run this against nickel 2-4-5 cover 3. And what makes this concept so effective, again, is the way the square in is ran right by Parrish. Now the key is to get him extended so he's running a little bit further, because the further he runs his route down deeper down the field, the more it forces any linebackers or any defenders that are playing hook zones to drop back to defend him. Now the one thing about this particular play is if you run it as is right now, watch what happens, and I'll show you. This receiver running this shallow crossing route or drag or whatever you want to call it isn't going to be as open, and you'll see why here in just a second. Let's go ahead and run the play, and I'll show you how to make him a little bit more open. See, he winds up getting in there and getting 4 yards, but if you look at it, the linebackers don't get that much depth. And the reason that is because the receiver running that shallow cross gets across the middle too quick for those guys to actually drop further back. Plus, throwing the fact is that slot receiver running that square in isn't really getting much depth himself. So let's go ahead and look at it from the top-down view. So here we go right here. So really, he's never really dropping that far back. And so I can make this throw in here. I probably could have threw a little bit earlier and got him a little bit more open and picked up a little bit more yards. But, you know, I like to do it this way. Now, let's go ahead and show you what I'm showing. I'll show you what I like to do here. I like to go ahead and motion this guy out to the right. And then what I like to do is go ahead and hot route Parrish. Now, what I like about this is what you'll wind up seeing here is him getting a little bit more open. Let's go ahead and take a look at it here. If you just wait and wait and wait, see how much more depth I get right there? And make sure that play's wide open. I know I almost picked up the same amount of yardage, maybe a yard longer, but the idea behind there is to make sure there's nobody even close to him. And that's why I like to do that when I run this play. And if I was to run any kind of flanker, square-in type concept or combo, even I could, for instance, say you come out in the gun doubles, you could run the exact same concept from the gun doubles or even a gun spread and run it the exact same way as I'm showing here and get away with it too. So keep that in mind, because a lot of these concepts work. It all depends on, you know, how you want to do them, but this is the way I would run it. And again, you can just watch how those guys drop back. See how they drop further back? It allows that guy to get that much more open. There we picked up about 7 yards. Let's go up from the top-down view. And again, you can see how this concept works. And again, you can find it through a lot of different playbooks and a lot of different formations. You can run it. You can run it from I-form, just about anything you wanted to, as long as you did some audibles and some, you know, type of different things. For instance, like I-form Pro, you could take your halfback and motion him out wide into the slot and then hot route him on a square. And say this was the halfback, you could hot route him, motion him out wide, hot route him on an in route, and then extend it, and he'd run that square in. And, of course, you'd have that flanker running that drag. You could run that same concept. So just keep that in mind. That's the thing about these concepts that I show throughout these different playbooks that I've done is they're pretty much universal through a lot of different playbooks as long as you just think about it. So if you really think about what you're doing, you can really run about most of the stuff pretty much against anything. So let's go ahead and look at it from the top-down view. Again, see how he's coming across. Now let's look at this linebacker here. He's running that. He's dropping in that hook zone. If you watch, he'll drop further and further back, and he's going to cover that square. And even if this linebacker was to sit here and drop back, he would still have to cover this guy as he came across the middle. And any other defender would. They would actually drop back initially. See, they have 3 guys. Say like for instance, let's come out into a different defense so I can show you what I'm trying to show. Let's say we come out and cover 2 this time. There's a little bit better example of that. Now, I do have a guy, if you notice, there's a tackle right there playing QB spy, so that could throw a little bit of a kink into what I want to do here. But let's go ahead and motion him out wide, and let's go ahead and hot route and extend Parrish on that in route or square in route. You just want to kind of do this. Now, same thing. If you move that quarterback over a little bit, you'll be able to move that defender as far as the guy in QB spy. QB spies can cause a little bit of problems on these shallow crossing routes and drag routes. Same thing. And you just move him back, and you can get that guy out of the way. Actually, I was against cover 3. Let's do this one more time. Let's go into a different defense so you can see this a little bit better. Pick a cover 2 here. Let's run this dime, cover 2 here. There's a cover 2 defense. All right, let's go back in that play one more time so you can see what I'm trying to show here. Go ahead and motion him out to the wide, out wide on the right, and then hot route Parrish, which is the slot receiver on the square end. Again, you can kind of see how this is going to work. Again, this is against cover 2, and you got those 3 guys dropping back in hook zones. Just got to be patient. He's wide open again. If you would have noticed, you would have saw that linebacker. I know I wound up getting sacked, but that's the same idea here. Let's run this one more time. Keep in mind I'm doing this live, and I'm not going to go back and redo these. I just want to show you, because sometimes you're going to get sacked. There he goes and open again. Now, he didn't drop as far as I'd wanted him to, but he still wound up dropping at least enough where I can make that throw underneath. Let's do it one more time. Same thing, out on that drag route. There he goes. This time he's open for about 7 yards. So that's something you can do. As long as that linebacker's playing behind that drag route, you'll be able to make that throw. And by extending that route on that square end, it prevents that linebacker from coming up any closer to defend that. So again, that's one you can run out of the Bills playbook, out of the flanker close.